Ladies and gentlemen, everybody is wondering, where are the Epstein files? When are they going to be released? And will they be redacted in any way as it pertains to potentially censoring the list, censoring certain individuals that could be involved with Jeffrey Epstein? Many people are wondering right now. Reportedly, Pam Bondi is reviewing the list, and there could be a number of reasons why the list has not come out. I'm sure the Trump administration's reason would be possibly to make sure that the release of this list will not impede ongoing investigations, because that's something that could happen if this list did go public. But a lot of other people, a lot of everyday Americans are saying Kash Patel, Donald Trump, and other people within the administration said that on day one, when they got in, the list would be revealed. None of it would be redacted. You can see this is just kind of a common theme we saw over the weekend. You are reviewing all files from JFK to Epstein. We are all anticipating their release. This is from Anna Paulina Luna, who has gotten some heat over this. So she's trying to kind of pass the blame off, it looks like, to Pam Bondi, saying it's Bondi who is in control right now and reviewing it. And Bondi did say on Fox News back on Friday that she did possess the list and was reviewing it. And the Fox host asked her if she was surprised or if there was a bombshell on the list that she had seen yet, and she said no. So the question is this going to be a big letdown? Is it going to be released? I mean, at some point, they're going to have to release something with JFK, with 9/11, with Epstein. The question is, what will be released? Will we know the full story? Will there be things that are redacted? Will there be pieces of information in pages that just don't get released at all? Will it be only 25% released? These are all things that people are wondering, especially with this delay. There's a number of reasons why the delay might be happening. I'm sure, again, the Trump administration will say, well, there's investigations going on. We don't want to impede those by releasing this information to the public. There's a lot of behind the scenes things, but also there are individuals that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein that have immense power within the government. And another thing I want to talk about really quickly, as you can see, where is this right here? You see right now, this is at around a 55% chance it's released in the first 100 days. This is very vague. Like, will the list be released? Well, what if there's a redacted names on the list? I mean, people are not going to accept that. They're just not. So my question is, will they even be releasing every page? Because I think the Trump administration knows if there's like a page and then like 7 things are redacted, people are not going to be accepting that. I think there's going to have to be something that gets released. I mean, they're talking about it every single day. Trump people are, and they're making it a big deal. And there are people in the government that are making this a big deal and demanding the list to be released, whether it's, in control right now of Bondi or Patel. They want this thing to come out. Again, there's a legal side to it, to where there's a strategical time to release this, but still they did say it would be released day one. We do understand that's kind of like Trump saying, well, I'm going to end the Russia-Ukraine war day one. It's more of a hyperbole. It's an exaggeration to say that the list is coming. Maybe it's not exactly day one, but Trump people and the MAGA base is going to hold their feet to the fire when it comes to this list coming out. So you can see in the last week, I think they're going to have to produce something with the amount of people it's every day now saying, where's the list? And it's not just the Epstein files, it's also the JFK stuff, which I think would probably also have some things redacted in it when you're talking about the people involved in that. Just a lot of high profile people within the government, and also people that are not really big names, but control a lot of things within the government, potentially being involved in these situations and wanting their names redacted. But you can see this. You've also got here, I think, who will be named on the Epstein files. They added a bunch of stuff here. Bill Gates, 56% chance. Clinton, 53% chance. Prince Andrew. I mean, there was a huge documentary on Epstein. I remember watching it back when this whole thing came out, when Epstein supposedly, died or committed suicide. There's this videos and photos of Andrew with Epstein. Stephen Hawking. You've got Tom Hanks at a 22% chance. A lot of this has very little money bet on it, but just some bunch of people. Hillary had an 18% chance. Joe Biden had a 7% chance. Trump had a 13% chance. So yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about, Trump's involvement. So whenever this list gets released or whatever ends up coming out, now liberals are saying not just Trump, but also Elon Musk are supposedly on this list. And they're going to say, well, they just didn't release the part with Donald Trump on it. I think that's completely ridiculous. If Donald Trump was in any way involved with Jeffrey Epstein involving any of the Epstein files to where it incriminated him, liberals would 1000% release it. And people say, well, no, they wouldn't do that because liberals are also on the list. They don't care. You don't understand, especially considering the election just happened. So you're talking about the biggest October surprise bombshell imaginable. Donald Trump on the Epstein list. Liberals who were in power for 4 years are sitting on that and saying, well, no, because it also incriminates Bill Clinton. We're not going to release that. Seriously? You really think that? Absolutely not. They think Donald Trump is Hitler. They think he's the worst person ever. Of course you would release it if Donald Trump was involved. That leads me to believe that Donald Trump is not involved, but I'm already warning people, if the list comes out and Donald Trump is not on it, they will just cope and say, well, Donald Trump had his name removed. That's just how it's going to be when it comes to Trump being on this list or not being on it, because that's their cope when it comes out. And there's a lot of Democratic politicians, and also there's going to be Republicans on it as well. I'm sure that's fine. Go ahead and expose everyone. But there is the Trump factor to it, to where they're going to say, well, Trump's not going to release it, with his name on there, he's going to redact it. Well, then why didn't liberals release it? And then they say, well, because there's also liberals on the list. Yeah, but they don't care. If you're trying to win an election and you've got Trump dead to rights with him being on the Epstein list, you would release that. So that leads me to believe that Trump is not on it. Now, obviously, I don't know 100% for sure. Obviously, when you're really rich and there's a connection with rich people, and then people are like, well, Trump took photos with Epstein. Yeah, that's what really rich people do. There's connections with the ultra wealthy. That doesn't mean that Trump went to Epstein Island. Epstein took photos with a bunch of people. So that's just my take on this current situation when it comes to it. I also want to spend about 3 or 4 minutes talking about the current border situation and why the deportation numbers, even though they're bad, the border is a lot more under control than it was under Biden. Because it is funny, you'll get liberals and even some Republicans come out with the talking point, well, Biden towards the end of his administration deported more people than Trump did. Number one, the reason Biden was deporting people was because liberals knew they were going to lose the election. Immigration was a huge topic. They started pretending to care about immigration. They didn't care about immigration in 2021 or 2022, but when it looked like they were going to lose because immigration was the big issue for American voters, they started actually trying to care about it. But there's the factoid of, well, Biden was deporting more people than Trump is. Yeah, that's bad. But again, number one, Biden only did it, or the administration, it's really not Biden, it's the Democrats. They only did it because they wanted to retain power. Number two, it's a false equivalency, because there's so many less border encounters now because of the ramped up security at the southern border. You've got the Washington Post reporting, you can take a look at the encounters since April of 2017, almost 16K, and there were around 500,000 encounters in December of 2023 alone. Biden's average was around 167K per month. So you're talking about Biden averaging per month the encounters of around a little bit above 150,000. The encounters are under 16K now. This is kind of weirded word. I understand it now. I'm just trying to understand this. But no. This is the actual number. What month is this though? Because it says April 2017. This is just comparing that. This is the lowest point it is since April of 2017. Around 16K encounters. So they're saying around 16K encounters, I would assume in January of 2025. So that's 16K encounters January of 2025. The last, you can see Biden, it's like 10 times the amount of encounters. So Trump's cut the encounters down by about a factor of 10. So this is very, very good news. The deportation numbers do need to improve, absolutely. But this is a part of border security. And so Trump is doing a better job when it comes to enforcing border. And I remember seeing a video on YouTube a few weeks ago. They went to the border and they said this was a hotbed where illegals would just pour over. Now it's a ghost town because of the enforcement at the southern border, with the amount of resources, the amount of money spent there. And you've got a lot of important people, and you talk to these people, they say Trump's deportation numbers are going to rapidly increase, probably in the second half of his administration, when he gets his full arsenal as his infrastructure in to really go ham on deporting these people, because he's got the mandate from the American people. It's going to be ramped up significantly in the second half. This is not cope. This is just what's going to happen based off of the current situation right now. There will be a ton of deportations in the second half of Trump, really the last 3 years of this this administration. The first year, you're getting everything into place. There's a lot going on. But the deportation numbers will ramp up. Trump understands that. He said he was pissed off. Homan was pissed off about the numbers. And so they're putting more resources, they're allocating more money into deporting more people. And so while the deportation numbers have been bad, this is another side of the coin where you're dealing with significantly less border encounters, like illegals trying to come over, than you had really any month under Biden. So that's the point of that. So it's it's two different sides. Yes, the deportation numbers are down, but they're going to kick up, and it's not just that. It's also you're having less border encounters, meaning the border is a lot more secured. You're not dealing with more illegals to where you're going to have to deport them, because deportation does cost money, although it is necessary. I think we would all agree on that. Either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.